I want to bring in Mark Montgomery. He's retired Rear Admiral and Senior Fellow with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Because these strikes are targeting nuclear facilities, I want to get your thoughts on how careful these operations have to be carried out. Literally, they are trying to hit with the precision of a needle in a haystack.
No, you're exactly right. I memean, you have to be very careful with these strikes on the different facilities, particularly, and as your correspondent mentioned, they have hit Natanz and Isfahan so far. But remember, they have practice at this. They have struck both sites in Syria and Iraq over the last 25 years to remove nascent nuclear programs. And as you can see here, they're because they have air superiority over the country. I think they have the ability to do precision strikes, and as a result, they'll minimize any collateral damage or any incidental spread of contamination. But these are the easier targets, as was mentioned. So far, I think they've been successful in ensuring that they hit the targets without unexpected collateral damage.
Well, and the message from Secretary of State Marco Rubio has been to Iran very clearly just avoid any U.S. target or any U.S. asset. But then over the weekend, we know that in the volleys back and forth between Israel and Iran, one of the missiles that came out of Iran came really, really close to a place where American personnel go in and out of there in Israel.
Yeah, that's correct. So look, here's in that regard, the U.S. is defending Israel. So we have THAAD battery in Israel, and we have ships right off the coast, and we have a number of personnel to support those units and support associated radar units. So there are U.S. forces there. I think when we say don't strike U.S. forces, we're talking about the U.S. forces that are in Iraq and in Syria who've been frequent victims of attacks by or targets of attacks by proxy forces of Iran or Iran itself. And so I think if they were to do one of those strikes against one of our, clearly against a U.S. facility, that's when you would see President Trump take much more aggressive offensive action.
So you feel like that would be the red line. And of course, this would be just your feeling alone. This is not the statement of the United States positioning at this point. That would be the red line where those bunker buster bombs would be greenlit by the United States.
Exactly. I think that if they struck U.S. forces, there's other things, potentially shutting down the Straits of Hormuz, things like that. But if they struck U.S. forces, I think it'd be highly likely that the U.S. would strike Iran. And the one target set that's needed are the B-2 bombers using massive ordnance penetrators against the Fordow nuclear facility in Iran. So, from my perspective, that's the one thing that the Israelis struggle with. So it'd be the one kind of mission the United States could take as retribution for an attack on U.S. forces.
Yeah, and you mentioned shutting down the option that Iran has to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. That speaks to oil pipeline and economic strikes that would hit so many nations. Thank you so much, Mark Montgomery. I hope to get to talk to you more here on CBS News 24/7. We appreciate your time.